Welcome. This is Raul Vargas, and this is the final lesson of my Introduction to Programming course. And this is really not a lesson, it's more of a final project to kind of tie in all of the things you've already done. So I'm going to just open up Alice. And the name of this project is going to be Interactive World of Wonder. So that's my generic name. You can give it a name that matches whatever theme or world or storyline you're going to go with. So I've already worked with the Mummy and the Pharaoh, so I'm going to kind of stick with that. I'll pick a sand template, but for this project, you're going to pick any template you want. In fact, I would, if there is a teacher giving this course, I would suggest that you do not allow the theme that I'm doing, just to get the students thinking and being creative a little bit. All right, so you're gonna create an interactive world, one where you can walk around, you can click on things, you can explore. Now, your world is gonna have a goal, something that you're looking for. It could be a pot of gold, it could be a missing person, and when you get to that goal, there should be some notification to the player that they won. It could simply be a text bubble, right? You can have the player say, "You win," just like we did in the Snowman project. So when you start this, before you get even into the coding, I say explore these galleries. And when you explore, be careful because sometimes there are folders inside of other folders. So when you click on animals, there's a folder called bugs, a folder called dinosaurs. You can do bugs life. You can do, some dinosaur type world. You can do, you're on the farm, right? Those are all different themes you can go with. Arctic, so you can do some things there. Ancients, fairies, fantasy. There's some fantasy stuff in here. Again, fairies are in fantasy. You have some kind of cool, funky things in there, like the Duck Prince. There's Garfield objects in there. High school. You want to set something up in high school. You can have some kind of samurai world, some medieval world. Agrabah over here. You can do something set in the Wild West. Pilgrims, sci-fi. We have some kind of cool robots over here under sci-fi. And something set sports related. So you can kind of, I suggest you really take your time, do something Finding Nemo related, something in the ocean. Again, I suggest you take your time, look through all of these objects, find something that's unique and fun to look at, because I highly suggest you share this project. And it's kind of fun when it's a unique setting. So I'm gonna stick with the Mummy Pharaoh. So I'm gonna add my pyramid over here, and let's say maybe we'll play as the Pharaoh. So you're gonna add your object to the world, your main character. I added the pyramid there. Just it kind of helps when you're walking around, just to make sure that you're moving. So you have some object to measure your movements against. And once you have your main character, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna guide you through setting up your main character and controlling your main character, and then I will give you some guidelines as far as how to go forward with this project. So once you have your main character, we want to move around this world, but we want the camera to follow him, because there could be tons of objects in this world, and he's definitely going to go out of view. You could have the camera be movable, but then it becomes kind of annoying if you're moving the character and then you have to kind of also move the camera to follow him around. So we're going to move the Pharaoh, and I'm going to move him closer to us. And one of the reasons is I'm actually kind of taking an easy way out. We're not animating his feet, and if he's too far away, you can see his feet gliding on the ground. I'm gonna move the camera up a little bit. It looks a little unrealistic. By moving his feet out of view, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna do a new event, and I'm gonna do let the arrow keys move the Pharaoh. So we hit play, and now our Pharaoh walks around, but he goes out of view. The camera is not following him. So this is how you fix that. Go to camera, go to properties, and there is a property called the vehicle property. So it kind of works like a vehicle in real life. If you're inside a car, if the car moves forward, you move forward, right? So we want to set the camera's vehicle to the Pharaoh. So now wherever the Pharaoh moves, the camera follows him as well. So let's hit play. And now we can walk around our world and the camera follows him. So, take your time, find the theme you want, find the character you want, and then set it up like this, where the camera will follow the character around. And notice I moved my camera. The reason I did that is because I don't want him obstructing too much of my view. All right, so interactive world of wonder. At this point, I want you to do a few things. I want you to populate the world. So right now, all I have is a pyramid. I want you to add at least 7 to 10 items in the world. So the more, the better. Makes your world more interesting to explore. Also, I mentioned you're going to eventually be looking for something in this world. You need to be able to hide the thing or the game becomes too easy. So populate your world. Then I want you to give your character a special move. Okay? So if you forgot how to do that, go back and look at the ninja moves video. You're going to, again, and just to do a quick recap, you go to Pharaoh, you're going to give him a new method. You're going to create an event. When the key is typed, do that method, right? So for your character, it could be, the move could be something as simple as a jump. You could give him some ninja move where he throws something. You could do punch, a kick, just some kind of move I think would be fun. So add a special move. Then we're going to turn this into a game. So at that point, you will have a bunch of items in your world. Your main character will have a special move. Now we're going to be looking for something. So let's say this character is looking for a sphinx, maybe a miniature sphinx, because it would be very easy to find this giant sphinx. So we have a sphinx, and we should hide him. So I'm gonna move him. So notice I'm moving my camera. For this project, you're definitely going to be using the camera, so get comfortable with it. Let's hide him behind the pyramid. And maybe turn him a little bit and then just throw him back there. Alright, so one kind of frustrating thing is when you move the camera around, then you have to find where you started and then move behind the Pharaoh. So there's easier ways to do this, but I'm not gonna get into it right now. Just do it the good old-fashioned way. Hopefully you've enjoyed working with Alice and you'll start learning some of the new ways to do things. So the other way to do that would have been using the methods. You just have a method move right behind, move to the Pharaoh, and then kind of, that's fine. All right. So we have the Pharaoh, we have the hidden object, and we know where it is, so it was easy for us to find. But if you had no clue what you were looking for or where it is, you would need some type of hint. That's the next part of our project. I want you to add objects to this world that will give you hints. I want you to add 3 objects that give you some type of hint. So for the mummy, so I added a mummy over here, and I'm not going to be too creative. I'm just going to have him tell you exactly where the sphinx is. But you might have, when you do your project, be creative with it. You can have the one character give you a hint which actually leads you to another character, and maybe that character has a riddle for you. And just kind of be creative. Maybe make some kind of like a trail that'll eventually get you to where you're going. So we have a mummy over here. We're gonna give the mummy a method called give hint, and inside of give hint, I'm just gonna have the mummy just tell us where it is. He's behind the pyramid. Okay. So now we're gonna go back to events. When the mouse is clicked on something. So when the mouse is clicked on mummy, we're going to have the mummy give hints. So now we play our game, walking around, we're looking for our sphinx, we can't find it. We see a mummy over here. Let's click on the mummy. He's behind the pyramid. So he'll give us a hint. Eventually you find where you're going. You should probably give, in fact, I want you to give the user some indication that they've won. So you can give the Sphinx a method called you win, and you can do when the mouse is clicked on the Sphinx, do the you win method. You can have him just say you win. If you want to be more creative, you can add something called 3D text over here, 3D text, and have a little message that appears. So you can add the 3D text. Then you can set the 3D. So let's say like you did, you win. Press OK. So it says you win. You know, again, you place it in the where you want. You probably should place it next to the Sphinx. You can change the color of the 3D text, and you can set the opacity. And again, all these things I'm doing is under properties for the 3D text. You set the opacity to 0 right here, but inside of the you win method, you would just do 3D text, set opacity to 100%, and it'll appear. So this is your final project. You're gonna add your character, you're gonna populate your world, you're gonna add items that give you hints, you're gonna give your character a special move, and you're gonna have some type of goal, which I think the most straightforward thing is something that you're looking for, and when you click on it, you're gonna run the you win method. Again, that's just the bare minimum for this project. That's the essentials. If you are very comfortable with Alice and you finish early or you have extra time, I suggest go crazy with it. I've had students do amazing things. I've had people recreate the first level. I've seen someone recreate the first level of Halo. I've had students create horse racing simulations, flying simulations. I've had kids create a Hulk smashing game where you jump up in the air and you can explore this big city. I've had people make horror games where you're walking through a house and things pop up at you. I've had tons. I've been amazed. I've had so many times where a student has asked me, "Is this possible?" And I'm like, "Oh, not really." And people have done it. So that's pretty much it. That's your final project. Make something cool. Share it with whoever you're doing this course with. If you're not doing this course with someone else, you can go onto the alice.org website. There's a forum, and share with people there or ask them for questions or tips. And again, thank you for taking this course. Hopefully you learned a little bit about programming, learned a little bit about using Alice, and you'll have some fun creating worlds and telling stories. Thank you.